Welcome to The Real Factor. And today we're going to give a spoiler-free little preview of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which came out, just this past month? Yeah, or this past week. So, my name's Thor.
And I'm Ed. So, yes, we're going to talk about, Thor hasn't seen it, but I did. I had a chance to go see it last week. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is the fifth movie in the Indiana Jones franchise, bringing back Harrison Ford at the age of 80 to reprise his famous role, probably his most iconic role, even though Han Solo is a close second. But it is the role that Harrison Ford loves the most, and is very happy to kind of go back through. A lot of the money drives everything. A lot of the interest with this is because the last movie, Kingdom of Crystal Skull, did not really do that well. The reception to it was a little bit mixed, and the critic review was just pretty much down the toilet bowl. So we wanted to see if we can give him a better shot, even though I liked the way that movie ended. But we still wanted to kind of see if there was another adventure that we can bring Indiana Jones back on.
So was it worth them creating a whole nother movie to try to bring back the glory from the first three in the 80s?
So the Fortune and Glory probably should have stayed buried. It's a good movie. It is a good Indiana Jones film. But does it recapture? Is it better than Crystal Skull? Yes. Does it recapture the original three? No. But can we really expect it to capture what we had back in the 80s?
Well, I think a lot of people want it to. They want to have that nostalgia. So and retro is back in, of course, and so they want that. Let me ask you, since I haven't seen it, are there Nazis in there?
There are Nazis.
What would be an Indiana Jones film without Nazis?
Right. So it's really kind of not a surprise. You can garner that really from the trailers if you kind of do a deep dive into it. But the Nazis do play a part in it. But the gist of this is that there is a artifact that...
Shocking.
I know. The MacGuffin of this one is a dial. And you really kind of don't know what the dial does until kind of towards the latter part of the film. I think that it would have been better if they kind of revealed that earlier on to kind of give you a little bit more urgency to why we are trying to get this dial. But we just know that basically the villain, and this is again addressed early in the film, is a scientist who was brought over from the Nazi Party, just as we had Operation Paperclip, which the U.S. brought over scientists from the Nazi Party to really help propel our space program. And that's where the beginning movie, if you've seen the trailers or the fanfare, it is basically celebrating the moon landing. And so the astronauts have come back into town doing a ticker tape parade through New York City, which is where one of our major action set pieces does take place. The Indiana Jones, like his sidekick in this one, so to say, is played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge. It is his goddaughter, Helena Shaw, I think that's her last name, or Helena, but. So her character is one of the biggest, critical complaints out there that people have a lot of issues with. She is basically in archaeology school. So she and her father was the one that did all the research on this dial. Okay. Very similar to how, Henry Jones Sr. did all the research for the Holy Grail, right. And Indy was the one that was trying to follow up on that. Helena is trying to follow up on her father's research.
So is this the case where, because Harrison Ford is 80 years old, that they're trying to pass it on? Now she's going to be the main... Because, again, I haven't seen this.
I would say that is not the case.
Okay.
I think that this is a final... movie that there's not. I don't see them doing it. The only way they could do anything after this, I think they should just reboot the whole series and recast it, or just leave it alone.
Hey,
it's okay. Just leave it alone.
See, we don't need to change Indiana Jones and have you don't need to redo Temple of Doom. with a
You don't need to
different,
redo any
you
of
know,
it. Just if you're going to do something, just make something totally new.
That's it.
Yeah.
But don't call him Indiana Jones. Just keep the same kind of archaeological. I mean, they had like the Librarian or something like that. Another movie where they're going after artifacts. See, that was different. It's the same kind of thing.
No.
But they just want to make the money off the name. That's all it is.
I do think you have to, though, realize in watching this that you do have an 80-year-old Indiana Jones. The action
Is he in a wheelchair?
No, but the action set pieces are tailored to what you would expect for somebody of that age. Okay, they're
He's on a hover around scooter.
right. I mean, he's not crawling under cars. That's going down the road.
Is he on top of trains?
In the prologue, there is some train sequence, and the prologue is basically kind of going back in time, and that's where you see the de-aging
I heard there was
Harrison Ford, which a lot of people have issues with. I still think it's pretty amazing that you can do that, so that you can still kind of tell the same story. My only issue with that is not necessarily with the CGI of the de-aging; it's the fact that they did not de-age his voice. So you have the 80-year-old Harrison Ford with the 40-year-old face, and it is noticeable because Harrison Ford, he talks like this nowadays, and so you have that, and that may take you out for a second, but then
with all the AI stuff, I don't understand why they couldn't do that with the voice. I just don't understand, because there's examples where they'll record on AI just some phrases, and then all of a sudden it'll generate.
And maybe
your basic. It sounds close enough.
Yeah, I know, and that's kind of where, like, if you were going to do that, let's just go and take it a little bit further. And the big thing is that they complained about that they spent almost $300 million on this movie, which I don't necessarily know that they needed to have spent $300 million, which is one of the issues that they're running into with this box office right now. Will they ever recoup that? But they de-aged not two other characters that show up later on, are just one character that does not, but he is definitely does not look like that now.
Right.
And nobody really comments on them. But some of the stuff that you see with the CGI is very CGI heavy, which is, when you go to Indiana Jones, you're really looking at more practical effects,
right, versus
CGI. We had the problem with CGI for the Kingdom of Crystal Skulls, and just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. But there was some just like running on top of a train, totally a CGI character that you just kind of I think we could do a little bit better.
Scooby-Doo Shaggy run.
Yeah. So the story, I think, is good. Some people have a problem with the ending. I did not. I thought that there's a little bit of a fantastical element of it, which is in all fantasy kind of thing, but supernatural. But there's always that in all the Indiana Jones. I mean, so it's not like it's unusual that you saw this. It's in all of them. So I did not have a problem with that, and I do think that the way that they wrapped it up at the end is quite appropriate. So
what if they had killed him off? I haven't seen this, so I don't think that's it, because everybody'd be losing their absolute mind. But what if they had killed him off and like passing the torch, like I was saying earlier, to somebody else? Like, this is my final journey, my final find, and here it is, and I've got to go. I mean, he doesn't have to die. He wouldn't have to die, like some crazy way, falling in a chasm or something. But just on his deathbed, I've got this one last thing to find, and I can't make it. And then that's how you go to the next Indiana Jones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I kept this secret all these years. I didn't tell anybody about it, but here it is. And you pass off the note.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that would have...
People would have lost their mind.
They would have. And...
Would have been a good segue.
And not to say that there's not some type of element like that in this movie, that there are choices that have to be made, and some people agree with the choices, some people don't agree with the choices, and like I said, that's going to get into spoilers, but I feel like the movie did justice for the character. I thought that Indiana Jones had an arc, that his goddaughter Helena had an arc, and that it ended up in a good way.
I gotcha.
So I recommend it, but do not go expecting
Temple
Last Crusade, Raiders of the Lost Ark. It is not that type of film. It is a movie for an aging, character. Who still gets around pretty good. I mean, honestly, the average age in my theater when I went and saw it was probably about 70, which, come on, kids, get out there and support
Indiana That's because you went
Jones.
to the 4:30 senior special.
Well, it was 11:40 in the morning, so by that then,
everybody was working.
It's hard to stay awake in these things. You turn the lights
Well,
off.
if it's that age, they were already up at 5.
Right.
So
Yeah, I was up at 5.
power walking. Yeah. You're not 70 yet. So.
Right, no. But give it a shot. Where does it rank on mine? It's 4th out of the 5. So it is better. It is a lot better than the last one. You just don't have just the stuff that seriously, you did that? You're going to have, Mutt swinging on vines with monkeys. There's not a lot of that in there. Yeah, there's some stuff that you're kind of like, okay, I'll let that pass. But it's an Indiana Jones. You're gonna still have that.
Yeah.
So I give it a thumbs up, but just know what you expect kind of going.
Because his thumbs up, I'll give it a thumbs up. Why not?
Why not?
I'll see it, but
all right.
I've just been busy.
So if you have seen it, put your comments down below. If you have not, go check it out and then leave some comments down below. Let us know what your thoughts are on it. If you plan to go see it, if you don't plan to go see it, are you waiting until it comes on Disney Plus, like probably half of America is doing? That's a whole nother conversation in my book. The reason why movies are not doing well. But anyways,
deep dive right there.
Oh, that's a. So, but yes, keep following us. Please subscribe to The Real Factor so you never miss another movie review.